Why is it that the sons of the man who parted the Red Sea vanished into silence? Moses, a towering figure in biblical history, a prophet, leader, miracle worker. Yet his own children, Gershom and Eliezer, are barely mentioned. No legacy, no leadership, no recorded impact. Why? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most puzzling gaps in biblical history. Why were the sons of Moses erased from the biblical spotlight while others, like Aaron's descendants, became pillars of Israel's religious life? Let's unfold this mystery step by step. 1. Who were the sons of Moses? Moses had two sons. Gershom, meaning, I have been a stranger in a foreign land, Exodus 2 verse 22, born while Moses was in Midian. Eliezer, meaning, my God is my help, Exodus 18 verse 4, likely born shortly after. Their mother was Zipporah, daughter of Jethro, the priest of Midian, a non-Israelite. From the start, their lives were shaped by both Hebrew and Midianite culture. But despite their father's divine mission and unprecedented access to God, they never became central figures in Israel's history. Not prophets, not priests, not leaders, not even footnotes in the Promised Land journey. Why? 2. The shadow of Aaron's line. While Moses was God's prophet, Aaron was appointed as the high priest. His sons Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar were given a lasting priestly legacy. The priesthood was never meant to go through Moses' line. God specifically chose Aaron's descendants to serve at the altar, not Moses' sons. This distinction is crucial. Despite Moses' spiritual intimacy with God, the Levitical priesthood was reserved for Aaron. This instantly excluded Gershom and Eliezer from central religious duties. 3. Moses' unique role, not hereditary. Moses' leadership was divinely appointed, not hereditary. His relationship with God was so profound that Deuteronomy 34 verse 10 says, Since then no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. But that role, speaking face to face with God, delivering the law, was never meant to be passed down. It was personal, not dynastic. So, unlike kingship or priesthood, Moses' position ended with him. 4. The forgotten sons, where did they go? We only hear about Moses' sons briefly. Exodus 18. They are brought to Moses by Zipporah after the Exodus. 1 Chronicles 23 verses 15 to 17 mentions Gershom and Eliezer again, linking them to the Levite tribe. In fact, Gershom's descendant, Shebuel, is mentioned as a ruler of the treasures in David's time, 1 Chron. 26:24, suggesting they served in some administrative capacity, but not as priests or national leaders. They faded quietly into the broader Levitical tribe, absorbed without prominence. 5. Zipporah and the Midianite factor. Moses married a Midianite woman, and this might have affected how his sons were perceived. Zipporah was not an Israelite, and in a time when lineage and tribal purity were deeply significant, their mixed heritage could have impacted their public standing. Even Miriam and Aaron criticized Moses for marrying a Cushite woman, possibly another name for Zipporah or a second wife, suggesting ethnic tensions were real. Numbers 12:1. Could this have led to social sidelining of his sons? Quite possibly. 6. Moses and the bloody bridegroom incident. In Exodus 4 verses 24 to 26, there's a strange and cryptic event. Kill Moses, until Zipporah circumcised their son and touched Moses' feet with the bloody foreskin, calling him a bridegroom of blood. This passage shows that Moses may have neglected to circumcise his sons, a serious issue in God's covenant. Could this disobedience have had spiritual consequences? Was it a sign of disconnect from Israelite tradition? Some scholars suggest this moment reveals tension in Moses' family about identity and covenant loyalty, possibly contributing to the sons' quiet fate. 7. A deliberate erasure? Or divine design? There's no biblical conspiracy to erase Moses' sons. But there is a pattern, God's intentional elevation of Aaron's line for priesthood and Joshua, not Gershom or Eliezer, as Moses' successor. God does not follow human logic of legacy. He chose David, the youngest son. He bypassed Ishmael, the firstborn of Abraham. And he did not pass Moses' mantle to his sons. It was never about nepotism. It was about divine purpose. 8. So what's the lesson here? Moses led millions, but his children disappeared into the background. This teaches us something profound. Even the greatest spiritual legacy doesn't guarantee generational spotlight. God calls individuals, not bloodlines. Maybe Gershom and Eliezer served quietly, faithfully behind the scenes. Maybe they chose obscurity. Or maybe their absence teaches us that God's plans are bigger than personal legacy. Final reflection. The silence around Moses' sons isn't a mistake. It's a mirror reminding us that God chooses differently than man expects. And sometimes the greatest figures in history don't leave dynasties, they leave revelations. Comment below. Do you think Gershom and Eliezer should have inherited more of Moses' legacy? Why or why not? Subscribe for more Bible mysteries and hidden truths. Turn on the bell to never miss our next deep dive.